thanks. There's two different things, hegemony and hi guys, and a payment system. You're confusing two of those things when you're talking about it. Hegemony comes from not accepting anyone else's money for the trade. That's where the hegemony of the United States comes from, and the empire, okay? Another thing is SWIFT. SWIFT is a payment system for the whole world. It's like every world is a person, every country in the world is a person, and it belongs only to one bank, which is Fed. Fed, one as a bank that controls all the payment system between the different countries of the world. That's a bank. It doesn't do no hegemony, doesn't do nothing. Everything is done in dollar, yen, euro, pound, and $2. It's a bank. There's no hegemony from it, okay? Hegemony is from US not wanting to accept anyone else's currency, which is changing now. China and Russia, they both developing SWIFT system, developing their own world bank that will do the payments, just like as we do payments between when we pay to anyone else, to a company, to corporation. That's just simple payment system, right? And it was all okay until it started weaponizing that payment system and blocking bank, simply blocking account of the Russia, removing it from the SWIFT, which is a messaging system, messages to the bank what to do with their money. That's what SWIFT is. So that's two different things, okay? Well, the United States not wanting to accept payments in anything else but the dollar is what makes hegemony. So now that the countries have an alternative, they can pay with a Russian bank with their own money. That's an alternative bank, just like we choosing to do another bank. So as long as there's one bank in the world that works, now you have alternative, right? It's not just dollar is gonna implode and all of it as you perceive it as that. It's a bank. Everyone wants to have at least one bank. But now there's more banks that you can use your own money, not only banks' money, right? That's the difference. That's where the benefit comes from by joining, having two systems, two banks, using two banks or three banks. So in order for the SWIFT or Fed banking, world banking system to implode, you will have to have to build up a whole new system, which will last at least 10 years, at least. That's if everyone now starts to joining into Russian bank, into Russian payment system, where you have multiple currencies used. That's a total mess. And there will be a lot of arbitrage between the Fed payment system and the Russian central bank's payment system. That's what is going to happen, how it's going to happen. When the whole world who wants to join Russian bank or Chinese bank using both systems, right? Both payment system, whichever it benefits them better, whichever they can use their own money. They don't have to borrow it. Because if they want to use dollar payment system, they have to borrow it. They cannot print it. That's the difference. You can sometimes replace your exports for import money, sometimes, but usually it's not done. So you have two accounts, your exports account and your import account. It's always like that. It usually doesn't mix. Your import money and your export money don't mix. You accumulate both import borrowing and export assets. It usually grows together. That's what they want to control with having everything in one money, which is dollar, It's much easier to control someone who's gonna enjoy, I'm just gonna import, accumulate debt, and don't care how much I produce for the rest of the world. Because this is what makes it important to not to allow anyone to abuse the system and just import money, right? Import goods, that's benefit for the country. Import, yes, you accumulate debt, but because you have another assets. You see the importance of this? Nobody talks about how much of assets the country have. Everyone talks how much country is in a debt, but it usually goes on the same level. That's the Bretton Woods system. Gold standard was just a promise. There was no change before, while under Bretton Woods and post Bretton Woods. There was no change in accounting. There was no change in the payment system. It was just a promise that was broken, and that's it. Because they need to promise they will pay in gold in order to make other countries believe in dollar. That's just to make believe. Gold standard is just a promise to make believe. There's no value in it. Just a promise to make believe others. That's it. Because even when you talk about gold standard for internal payments, like before 33, when United States had the internal gold standard, after 33, it didn't have internal, it had only external gold standard, which is Bretton Woods. That's only for payments with other countries, not for the citizens of United States couldn't exchange gold. It was only for other countries. So you confusing things also, that gold standard. But what's the problem with that gold standard, internal gold standard, is that private banks print the money, but the state has to guarantee the price of gold. That's the problem. You cannot have those two things working. Private banks printing money and only the state guaranteeing it. You see the problem? So you cannot punish the bad guys because state has to guarantee it. Bad guys are banks that print the money, because usually through the history, through the capitalism, through the fiat banking system, last 300 years, it's usually that private banks print about 10% of new money each year, and the state prints about 3%. So only state has to guarantee that. Banks don't have to guarantee gold standard. You see the confusion? You see the problem with it? Why it cannot work? You should know that. I don't know, but I think RL is the next one.
If private banks can generate money, it's because they are allowed to.